Hey, welcome to Imperfect Together, where nobody's perfect. We're all a little bit jacked up, especially Sutton. And he is back with us this week and doing things a little bit different.
Yeah,
right?
man.
Sutton actually kind of planned this one out, so I am not fully sure what all is going to happen.
I'm not really sure. We're just gonna kind of
we'll go with it and see where it goes.
I got a slight plan.
All right.
So, dude, yeah, like this podcast, I'm super tired because you know how I'm going off to college, or I'm going back here in less than a week.
Yep.
So I'm trying to cram as much as I can into this little time.
Well, what are you trying to cram in?
I don't know.
Sleep?
No, definitely not sleep. You would think sleep, but dude, I've gotten bad at like staying up till 1 or 2 on YouTube.
Yep.
So, dude, I was actually last night, I was just, going down a rabbit hole. And have you ever seen those GQs videos where they like have on celebrities, rappers, and they just say, all right, so and so, tell me 10 things you can't live without?
No.
No?
I've never. Dude, I don't have time to get on YouTube and just get lost.
Yeah. So, yeah, dude, I watched a ton of them. I watched like every rapper on there.
What was your favorite one?
Probably Lil Baby.
What was some of his things he just couldn't do without?
Dude, like $100,000 backpack that like he like has to keep with a cash.
It's like, man, I'll get you a JanSport.
Dude, I know. And like yeah, he just like walking bank.
Okay.
And he has to have that.
So he keeps $100,000 on him all the time.
Dude, probably more. He keeps that, and like I just like love all of his like stupid chains. He's like, man, I gotta have a $500,000 chain on me always, or else I'm gonna die.
Okay.
So for time's sake, give me 5 things that Chris Stacy cannot live without.
Well, I definitely don't have anything like that. Now let me ask you this: like, obviously, like my wife and kids, but should that be one of the 5 things, or like we're talking like other stuff? Just want to get that out of the way, like so that if I don't say my wife and kids, I'm not in trouble.
Sorry, Tammy, if you're listening.
Y'all are like, first.
I would say more of like objects.
So material things things I can't live without.
Yes.
Well, I definitely need my truck, and I want it to be a truck.
Why?
Because you never know when you're going to need a truck. You got to throw stuff in the back. I've had a car. My first car was a Ford Probe. It's like a little hatchback thing.
Yeah.
Can't do anything with that. So I want a truck. I like things I can't do with it. My computer.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much that's my livelihood.
Are you branded to the Mac?
Yes. I will not ever have a PC.
What about like an HP or Dell?
That's a PC. Anything other than Mac is a PC.
Gosh.
I don't know why that is, but it is. Yeah, I'm Apple 100% of the way.
Yeah.
So
Apple needs to sponsor you.
That would be awesome.
Apple, if you're listening, reach out to Chris.
I will tell other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just built a gaming computer for Tanner. Dude, it's been so long since I used a normal computer, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how it worked, which I know that's how everybody else feels when they get an Apple, but anyways. So I definitely need a computer because
I got 2.
Because that's where I do all my work.
Yeah.
If I didn't have that, well, I guess I could still do this job, but other stuff I do. Let's see. Things steak or meat. Let's go meat. Can I go that general?
We'll go
because I gotta have meat I don't like meals if there's not meat involved.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do it.
All right.
But it's not
What's your
really a meal.
Go-to steak place? Texas, Roadhouse, or you more just like go to Chili's with the kids?
I don't have a preference, but usually if we end up going somewhere, it's either Longhorns or Outback.
Yeah.
Now, if you start talking real steakhouses, then those are kind of like nothing. Like I've been to some fancy ones too, and get some. But them are expensive steaks. I don't go there unless somebody takes me.
Yeah.
Let's see.
You got
What else did I
two
name?
more.
Workout shorts.
Workout shorts. Any brand? Are you brand
No.
loyal?
No, I'm not. But I want them to fit right. So I want like
Them to fit.
7-inch. I can do 5 too, but 5 or 7-inch can't be long. Like I got short legs,
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, dude.
so like 7-inch shorts.
I have always said, like, coming from a short guy, for all you short dudes, if you want to look taller, wear shorter shorts.
That's the trick, huh?
That's the trick. I've been doing that since day one. Like,
What's funny to me though is when people wear like 5-inch shorts or whatever,
yeah,
and their underwear is longer than their shorts is. It's like coming out of the bottom.
that is me.
Not like, because some shorts that's built into it. But
Yeah.
I'm talking about like your normal boxer briefs or whatever you wear, and they're longer than your shorts are. I'm like, man, at that point, don't even wear them.
Dude, that's Sutton. That's Sutton all the way.
That is, yeah, I've seen you like that. I don't know how many that is.
All right, so
Three?
you got your
truck.
Mac.
My computer,
That's 2. Steak. Shorts.
meat, short, phone. Gotta have a phone.
Phone.
Yeah. Speaking of your phone's ringing over there.
Hopefully it's not my.
Gotta have a phone,
Yeah.
just because I do a lot with that too.
Use the phone. All right.
Yeah, that's 5 things.
There we go. There's 5. All right, guys. So the topic that we're going to kind of be dialing in on is guilt.
Guilt.
Guilt. That's a big one.
Guilt is a heavy topic.
Yeah. Because everyone struggles with it, whether it's something small or something huge.
What is something that from high school maybe you did?
Man. Okay. I'm just going to say, Mom, if you're listening, I'm so sorry that you had to hear about this now. So my junior year, I drove a Mustang.
Yep.
Not a great thing to give a high school boy for his first car. So obviously I got a speeding ticket, careless driving ticket, and I ran through a red light
Yep.
ticket. So I had 3 tickets.
I remember this.
So obviously with 3 tickets, your State Farm bill goes up a lot. So
How much did it go up?
dude,
Like, what was your monthly insurance?
well, being a boy and driving a sports car, it was like already like $200 or something. And then after those tickets, I think it was like 5 or 6 a month.
Dude, that's more than a car payment.
Yeah. So my parents were like, "All right, son, we're gonna take you off, and so therefore you cannot drive." Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
this happened spring break in my junior year, and I was like, "All right, Mom and Dad, when can I drive again?" And they had told me I'll be lucky to drive during prom my senior year. And I was like, man, this is gonna make dating tough.
So I've been over a year then.
Oh yeah. And so I was like, man, because I was kind of seeing this one girl, and I was like, man, like I'm not gonna call her up and be like, hey, come and get me. So, my best friend Colt was like, hey Sutton, I will let you borrow my a truck. I was like, sweet. And my parents said I cannot drive my friend's truck, my
Yeah, because you have no insurance covering you.
nothing. So I'm always borrowing his truck and going out with this girl, and she kind of knows the whole situation. And so it's me and this girl and in my buddy's truck, and it's probably the worst thing possible because he has expired tags, a tail light out. So it's like,
You're gonna take a car. You gotta be smarter than that.
dude, it was all that I had. And so we're pulling up to this light and we're like jamming out. I look over and I see my grandpa, and my grandpa knows I cannot be driving.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Did he see you?
no. But instantly I felt guilt. I was like, dude, I'm sorry, Mom. And then so like after that, at first like I felt no guilt. Like I was like, I don't really care. And then after I figured out I could get in serious trouble for it,
Mm-hmm.
then every time I would do it after that,
So it didn't stop you from doing it. You just felt worse now.
yeah.
So, isn't the purpose of guilt to help you not keep doing the things that you're doing, like to correct that and not
Yes.
keep driving?
Yes.
But you didn't care?
Well, like after like the like almost getting caught, it kind of like I kind of came to my senses. It's like, man, I could get in serious trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of taking out my buddy's truck twice or 3 times every single week, like I kind of was like, hey, since we almost got caught, you know, you should probably drive and not me because I could get in serious
So she
trouble.
started chauffeuring you around.
Yeah.
Is that awkward?
Basically, yeah, and like, especially like me being like older than her, like,
Oh, yeah.
it was like, man, I shouldn't have gotten those tickets.
Hey, well, it is what it is.
Yeah,
So
man.
how long was it until you got your license back?
Dude,
Or I guess
I think it was 3rd week of my senior year. So I went the last 9 weeks of my junior year, plus the entire summer going into my senior year.
so at least you got to drive it in your senior year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's a lot better than prom.
I know.
That'd have been terrible.
Yeah, man.
All right, so talking about guilt then.
Dude, guilt. I think guilt's a very tough topic, especially coming from a guy. I think that a lot of dudes don't want to talk about guilt or any of that just because they just don't like talking about that type of stuff.
Do you think we have guilt, or do you think we just like stuff it in and just try to hope it goes away?
I feel like both. I feel like it all goes back to the type of person that you are. So like if you're like a super stubborn person, then you're probably just gonna try and like ignore your guilt, and that's when it gets bad because the guilt just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. Mm-hmm. So honestly,
I think too, it turns into other like anger.
oh, it
Like,
does,
it
definitely
turns into
does.
Other things, and it just becomes a snowball effect that just eats you away.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that, yeah, I think guilt and stress, I think, are like partners. Because if you're dealing with all this guilt, all you're thinking about is that one guilty thing, and then it just kind of like it takes a hold of your life and causes you to like stress out about it. Because I think that a lot of guilt is like, is so and so gonna find out about this? Because you've already done something that you probably shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
And then you have guilt because you haven't been caught yet or called out for yet.
So how then do we begin to deal with guilt? Because if you don't, if left unchecked, it can lead to stress, anxiety. You're always looking over your shoulder. I mean, there's lots of different forms of guilt.
Dude, I don't.
So how do we start to tackle it?
Dude, I don't know. I would feel like, I don't know. I feel like there's like different types of guilt though.
Yeah.
I would first, I don't know. I'd first try and address it. That way you're not putting off this guilty thing. Address
it with the person you did something against, or
yeah, I mean,
just with yourself, or what?
I would say self first.
Okay.
Like just being like, all right, Chris or Sutton, I have guilt for this, and I'm tired of feeling guilty for it. So I would ask myself, what can I do to get this terrible feeling out of me? But yeah, I'm gonna have to ask that question to you because hit that reverse card?
Man, I think when it comes to guilt, I think you're right. You have to own up to it, right? If you keep trying to hide from it, it's going to do nothing but fester
Yeah.
and grow and turn into other things. And oftentimes when we deal with guilt, that leads into carrying it out on other people because now we're mad about it. I feel guilty that I did this to my sister or whatever. And then you start feeling bad, and then you start getting mad, and then you're taking it out on somebody else who's just an innocent bystander. And so there's a lot, I think, and obviously that's a small example. I think there's very big examples too of guilt. Like you can do some really bad stuff, and it's not I just feel bad because I hurt your feelings.
Yeah. Right. Well, okay. Or
you could be a drunk driver and kill somebody or something, and now that's a whole different level of guilt. So what
would you tell someone who? Crap! I lost my train of thought. I gotta dial back in.
It happens.
Yeah, man. Okay, so like, let's say that one of your friends comes up and was like, "Hey, Chris, I've done this and I feel guilty for it, but I'm gonna try and keep this guilt in, because if I try and face it, then I'm gonna get into some trouble."
Dude, my gut response that I immediately start thinking of is, you can't be so worried about getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Because the long-term effect of guilt that you're going to be dealing with is going to cause a lot more damage to you than maybe some consequences you're going to face.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there can be, like I said, big consequences or smaller consequences, but I think the first thing you got to do, you have to own up to it. And you have to be willing to say, you know what, I screwed up. And even like if you have the opportunity, if it's against somebody else, go try to make things right. But, it's easy for us to want to make excuses, I think, and say, oh, well, I wasn't the only one doing it, or, that was in my past life or whatever. We can make all the excuses we want, but yet it still eats away at us. And so you have to figure out, how do I make amends with this? Because I can't just shove it away.
Yeah.
If there's going to be consequences, then okay, let me man up and face the consequences. Because I've seen, you can, even like in movies and stuff or TV shows, you can see how when somebody is guilty and they don't deal with it because either they hurt somebody and they're going to go to jail or whatever it is, it just continues to eat away at them where they would rather be in jail anyways.
Right.
Because I think that's how we're made. Now, if we're not feeling that, that's a whole other story, because you got a lot of heart issues going on. You're just, I don't care.
Yeah.
But most of us, I think we want to be decent human beings, and we want to care for people, and we're going to screw up. And so I think you just got to own it and own up to it.
Because I feel like that's why a ton of students, me, why I would feel guilty for some stuff that I either did or said, and I would just keep it in because I didn't want to face it and get into the trouble, especially whenever you're still at your parents' house.
Now, here's the thing too. I think the more you do that, the more it becomes easier to do something wrong again, right? Because you're hiding. And so now you're in this constant state of hiding. And instead of facing it, addressing it, taking the consequences, and choosing to, I want to be a better person, we begin going down this other road of, well, I can't tell anybody that, so now I got to cover it up with this, and you get this web of lies going, or it just becomes easier and easier to hide things from your parents, which is never a good idea.
Right.
And so I think, you have to deal with it. Like, we're going to screw up in life. And nobody likes facing consequences. Nobody. It's not fun. But it's a far better result than what can happen or the road you can end up going down and where you end up when we don't learn to face those consequences.
Yeah. All right, Chris. Have you ever had a time where you've had to face consequences for something that you did, and then after you
I mean, there's been plenty of times.
yeah, just like something that,
But after what?
and then okay, let me see where I was going with this. So you did something bad, and then you're like, man, I gotta face the consequences. And then immediately after that consequence is done, you're like, man, I'm super glad that I did that.
First thing I think of, I was, I'm gonna say a junior or senior. I don't really remember, but I was over at a friend's house, and it was three of us spending the night at somebody's house, and we had gone to a party, but we had to be home by like midnight or whatever. So we came home, and I thought, okay, we're good. We're good. Like I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
But I just thought, okay, the night's moving on. We're gonna do whatever next. Well, then they decided they wanted to go back.
Oh yeah. Never
like-
go back to the party.
No,
it only gets worse.
Yeah, they wanted to go back, and I'm like, I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't really a partier to begin with. And but I felt like I was caught. Like the two guys that I was with, one of them was at their house.
Yeah.
They wanted to go back. I'm stuck here, so what am I supposed to do? Just stay here by myself?
Or their parents like cool with y'all going back or no?
No.
Oh, you're just sneaking out?
We're not supposed to go back. So it became the whole thing of like, you're shoving pillows and stuff in the
in the bed, and the
blanket.
shoes coming out the end.
Yeah,
man,
like, I did not feel good about it at all.
Right.
And so we went back to this party, and I remember sitting on the stairs. It's like one of those staircases where it wraps around, and then the end of it is right there in front of the door.
Oh yeah.
I was sitting on the stairs, and like people were knocking on the door, and my first thought was, "Oh man, somebody's in trouble."
It's a cop.
And so I go and open the door, and it's Philip's parents, and I'm like, "Oh crap, we're the ones in trouble." And so he's like, "Get in the car immediately." So I have to go get them. We get in the car, and on the drive back, so like for me, I didn't do anything wrong other than sneaking out.
Right.
And I would have had no problem telling my parents. But they decided we have to come up with a story. And they came up with a story.
Phil's parents?
Huh?
Philip or a parents?
Yeah, Philip.
Oh yeah.
Like we're in the back seat. Or I guess we weren't in the back seat. We were driving back separately following them.
Oh yeah.
And because we had a car there. And they're like coming up with this story, and here's the story, and you have to go along with it. And I'm like,
dude, I
really
can't.
don't want to do it. Like, this is another one. I don't want to do it. But I went along with it anyways because I didn't want to get them in trouble. And then I ended up getting in so much trouble from my parents because they eventually found out.
Right.
And they knew that whatever our story was dumb. Listen, when you're a teenager, you make up dumb stories.
Yeah.
Parents know.
Dude, I know.
Just telling you, parents know.
Yeah.
And so, but I got in so much trouble because I lied about it. And like, I think that was the last time I got a spanking. Like I was in high school and I still got a spanking. Like, but like he called in like my small group leader.
Oh,
like
dude.
all this like he came over and gave me this talk, and I'm like, I felt so bad. I'm like, really, guys, I didn't want to do any of this to begin with.
Right.
I shouldn't have went on.
Peer pressure,
But man, like my dad was so afraid that like, oh man, I'm going off the deep end.
Yeah.
And so I got the lectures, I got the spankings, that was like the last time I like did anything. I'm like, forget y'all. I'm not listening to y'all.
Exactly. So takeaways is like that snowball effect.
Oh yeah.
Where you could have just gotten in a trouble for sneaking out, but
then you lied about it.
Then you lied about it. I think that the worst possible.
Here's the thing, like they didn't even get in trouble.
It was just you.
Yes.
Dude.
I didn't even do anything.
I feel like
so mad at them.
I feel like whenever parents talk, like you just get in just worse trouble.
Yeah.
Cause dude, like my parents are like Sutton. I can't believe that so and so's parents had to call me and make us look like we were raising a terrible son. Like
Dude,
mom,
that's part of
I was
it.
like, mom, they're a kids, they're doing it too. And then they're like, well, us Edens, we're different.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, all right.
Yeah, it's tough, but man, yeah. So guilt is not fun. It just eats away.
It is not.
It eats away at you.
And then, dude, yeah, I think that the whole snowballing thing, I think like that's the worst thing that comes with the guilt, because you just try and layer it,
Yeah.
and hide it and lie about it.
Yeah. So here's the thing. You know, I wanna tie this into some biblical stuff, and like the person I think of when it comes to guilt is like Paul. All right, because Paul was like, he basically, before he was Paul, he was Saul, and his job was, I'm gonna go track down. He was like a manhunter.
Yeah.
I'm gonna track down these followers of Jesus. I'm either
kill
gonna
'em.
arrest them and put them in jail, or beat them, or kill them.
Yeah.
Like, and he did all that stuff, and not just because he had to, like he wanted to.
Yeah.
And then later on, like he ends up, you know, Jesus comes into his life and changes him. But I can't imagine the guilt you would have over
dude.
something like that,
Dude.
right?
Imagine telling
that's-
like Jesus, yeah, I killed a lot of your
I'm really
followers.
sorry about that.
I shouldn't have.
Like, sorry just doesn't cut it right there. does it?
Dude, I know I can't even fathom that.
Yeah, but I mean, he goes on, like he ends up right in, I think it's in Romans 8. Like he ends up like owning it, and that's part of where I was talking about earlier. Is he doesn't make excuses about it; he owns it. And he
Right.
goes on and says, like, "There's now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus." And I think, you know, one of the biggest takeaways when it comes to how do we overcome guilt is you have to understand that, like, okay, yes, I screwed up. But when Jesus came, he came to take away sin and guilt and shame. So our job isn't, like, we're not supposed to hang on to that kind of stuff.
Right.
We're supposed to be able to let go of it, move on. We can give it to Jesus. And he has already paid that penalty for us, so we don't have to be guilty. Now, yes, we still have to go make things right, right? I think we still have to make things right with people. I think we have to remember, like, I don't need to be getting mad or judging other people because I'm just as guilty of stuff.
Yeah.
But there's a peace and comfort in knowing that you don't have to hang on to it, right? Like, have you ever experienced that for yourself? Were you able to move on from guilt because you were able to just let go of it and move on?
Yeah.
So, like, what would be a good example of that?
Let me think. Ooh. I got the perfect story.
Okay.
So I'll make it quick. A lot of people already know this, but my 8th grade year, I got into some trouble. It was kind of the last straw for my parents, and so my mom, because like I was super big into like buying and selling shoes, and I just bought a $1,400 pair of shoes with my money, and she burned them. Like to a crisp. Like I have never worn them. Like I kept them in a glass case. I was like, Mom, you can burn five pairs, but like I really just need to keep that one pair. She was like, no. So she burned them, and then after that, dude, like I said some mean things to her.
I'm sure you did.
And for like a month, there was just a ton of tension because of the things that I said. And then like I felt guilt because I was mad about my punishment, but I felt a guilt for the things that I said. And I feel like I was like, dude, like I'm not gonna go and tell her I'm sorry, because if I do that, then like she won. And finally I was like, dude, like I can tell that like all that stuff that I said is, like she like it's a hurting her.
Yeah.
So whenever I went and talked to her, like I told her I was sorry and like I actually like meant it. Like I feel like that was just like a big burden taken off of her and me.
Yeah, I mean, essentially that's what guilt is. It's like, people often say like this weight. You said earlier, like when you're able to let go of it and move on from it, whether you deal with it with somebody, whether you give it to Jesus and you move on, or however you decide to deal with it, like this weight just gets lifted off
Right,
of you.
because dude, like there was a ton of attention, and like all my siblings are like, "What the heck is going on?" Because like I wasn't.
Yeah, and it affects everybody around
Yes,
you.
because like I wasn't talking to her, and she wasn't talking to me, and then finally I was like, "Look, it's affecting my siblings, my dad, and obviously me and my mom." So like we just kind of just cleaned the slate. She apologized for the harsh punishment, very harsh.
No going back from that.
Dude, no, I actually sold the crisps of my shoe because like it got burnt down to the sole. I sold the burnt sole for like $40.
Somebody paid for that?
Oh yeah,
I don't understand, man.
dude, I don't either, but
Makes no sense to me.
yeah. But yeah, just like after that, like we were good, and like honestly, and after that point, like I never got in like any like huge trouble.
So let me ask you this then. Fine, as we wrap it up, what would you say to anybody watching this on, let's say they're feeling guilty. Maybe it's something small, maybe it's something big. What would be your advice to them on helping them move forward with their life and lifting that weight and all that kind of stuff?
Just kind of what we've been talking about, like address it with yourself. One, 'cause I feel like that's the biggest step is addressing it with yourself, and then whoever is involved with that guilty thing that you've done or been thinking about, you just need to go and talk to that a person.
Yeah.
And then if there's consequences, man, you just gotta face those consequences. And once the consequences are done, and you've talked to those people, like that guilt's just gone.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing more freeing than that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say that it's a short process where it's like, all right, hey, I'm sorry, give me my consequences, and it's gone.
Right.
Like, but
Yeah.
after the entire process, because it's just a huge a process. After that a process, dude, like you'll feel fine. You won't feel stressed out. You won't feel anxious.
Yeah, it's not fun. I mean, I don't know if this is going a whole different rabbit trail, but have you ever been like watching a movie or a TV show or something where like, let's say, like they end up killing somebody or something, and then they're like the whole rest of the show or the movie, like they're trying to run from that.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever like? I'll be watching that and I'll be nervous for them.
I know.
Like that anxiety and stress will come into me, and I'm like, God, I don't know how they would do this. Like, I start freaking out myself because I don't know.
Dude.
Like, I can imagine in real life what that would
I
be
know. Dude, I watched this Netflix movie. I don't even know what it was called. But basically, or this dude, he had this huge gambling problem, and he kept on going like even more and more into a debt, and like I could feel it. I was like, dude, like this freaking guy's gonna lose everything.
Yeah.
And he did, but it's like, dude, I mean, I feel like that's what guilt is. It's kind of like losing in gambling, where your losses just get bigger and bigger. Then as your losses get bigger, it just takes a bigger toll.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is deal with it.
Yes. Deal with it.
Don't hang on to it.
Because if you don't, it's just going to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah. And here's the deal. The consequences are the consequences. And even from a spiritual perspective, when looking at Paul, like God says, hey, I've forgiven you. Let's move on from it. Like he's not holding guilt over us or shame, so we don't have to do it to ourselves. Just face it and deal with it and move on and get your life back.
Yeah.
Because, man, if you don't, it will control you and take control of
100%.
So You can control it, or it can control you.
Exactly.
That's-
You're just gonna pick which one.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's all we got. You got anything else?
No, man. I'll be back on this podcast probably, and I'll be back in probably about a month.
Whenever you get back. All right. We'll get you back on.
Yeah, man.
So, hey, thanks for hanging out
Thanks,
with us
y'all.
today. And go get rid of your guilt.
Yeah,
Deal
man.
with it.
For-
Figure out a plan.
sure.
Take action. All right. Love you guys. Be good.
Awesome.